That's nice. We're so back.
We're so back.
We are so back.
Welcome back to the Two Dope Boys.
Two radicals on a sabbatical.
Two crustaceans living out their vocation. It's the Two Dope Boys on the Porch podcast.
That's right. I'm Aiden.
I'm Samuel, and we're here. What are we doing?
We're reviewing albums.
We're reviewing some albums.
We're giving them a score.
Out
of 5 stars.
Out of 5 stars.
With halves included.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fuck you, Roger Ebert.
All right, and what do we have for this week?
Well, first, we'd like to address the absence. We didn't record because Aiden's disgusting little frail body failed him, and he got coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all his disgusting, tiny, frail body's fault.
Yeah, I'm not going to make a comment on the vaccine. All right.
Aiden has very radical opinions about the vaccine, and you will hate them.
And you will hear them.
I'm
growing a tail as we speak.
Ivermectin is the only way forward.
All right. So, first album of the week. It's midweek now, but as we announced last week in our episode, Magdalena Bay, Imaginal Disc.
Yes, the excellent synth pop duo.
Yeah.
You told me not to put the T there, so I won't put it there. But the pop duo of Mika Tenenbaum and Matthew Levin formed in 2016. Both of them born in Buenos Aires. Wait, no. One of the Matthew was born in Miami. They both have family from Argentina.
Yeah.
Mika was actually from Argentina, but they formed in 2016 in high school, and they've been making very, very excellent pop music ever since.
Yeah.
But this one is quite a step forward for them. They've kind of only released EPs and mixtapes before this. And this is their first kind of full-fledged project.
I think before we even get into our ratings or any reviews on anything in the album, I think in the pop sphere as of recently, we've definitely talked about this. Things have started to get very stale. At least I feel with certain artists, and this Magdalena Bay feels like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, this album is electrifying. I didn't write down anything on it in the show notes because I was just so excited. I've listened to this thing twice, which is rare for me, and it's just brilliant. It's such a great album. We both adored this album.
Yeah, it's so big. Oh, your mic is flipped the wrong way.
Is it flipped the wrong way?
Yeah.
Good.
It'll pick up better that way.
Oh, that would help. Oh my God, you're so right. That's so crazy.
We're good. You're still getting audio. But yeah, back to the album. I think it's really like a breath of fresh air, and with like you've got Charlie XCX, Brat, and a lot of these other kind of, I don't want to call them indie pop duos, or like groups.
Yeah.
But obviously Charlie XCX and A.G. Cook are pushing the boundaries, and now you've got Magdalena Bay that's also trying to push this boundary of what pop music can be, and it's making something that was once kind of looked at as very commercial and fake, and like just pushed to consumers. Now it's something that I feel like pop is really getting to be appreciated as an art form and a genre.
Yeah, I think the first 2 tracks on this album show this really well. Show what a unique voice Magdalena Bay brings to the pop sphere.
Yeah.
You have the intro track, She Looked Like Me, which is about a 3-minute track that's just kind of a slow build up. And it's a really fascinating song because it just leads perfectly into the next song, Killing Time. And it's filled with this kind of like these really beautiful synths that set this really dramatic sphere, and then huge drum tracks, and then really beautiful vocals from Mika.
Yeah.
And then it leads straight into Killing Time, which has a killer groove. And just, I mean, it's just really indicative of what makes this album so great, because there's really beautiful synth sounds that go all over the place. Sometimes it sounds like a Stevie Wonder clavinet. Sometimes it sounds like nothing I've ever heard before. And then other times they're just like, you can hear the prog influence in their work. Other times you can hear random influence. There's one song. Hold on. I got to get it right. It's Tunnel Vision, where I just wrote in big letters Black Sabbath bass, because there's a break in the middle of the song that hits a sick bass intro that just sounds just like Geezer Butler. And it's just insane to see something that is truly, it is an indie pop record that just has so many influences and all molded together so perfectly.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect segue right into my favorite track on this album, which is Tunnel Vision. I think the a lot of times, and I'm approaching it also from like a producer standpoint, you really want to look at form and also, in my case, I love sound design, and I think both are executed perfectly on this track. I think that the bass tones um, are distorted in a way that like tickles your ear, and the form of the song is it has that sudden switch to that really gritty Black Sabbath bass in the second half, and I just love the production on that one. Super catchy, and yeah,
I want to say on the bass as a whole, there's a lot of really sick synth bass tones that are amazing, and then sometimes it sounds like they'll throw in a real bass in there that is also played really lovely.
yeah,
But on my favorite track, "Love Is Everywhere," the track right after "Tunnel Vision," it starts. I'm gonna sing it. It starts like with a like, and then love, but then there's like a slap bass in there, and it's fucking sick. It's so crazy because it comes out of nowhere. Because they've been doing some funk stuff, they've been doing some like almost Stevie Wonder-esque ballads, and then they go into this straight like Larry Graham type bass line, and
Larry David,
yeah,
Seinfeld bass line.
Larry David bass line, and it's incredible. They're so great, and I don't know how you conceive of an album this fluid that just flows the whole time
Yeah.
with this many disparate ideas. It's incredible. It's
Yeah.
truly a masterpiece.
I think what really pulls it together are those like synth tones. Because with all the different feels that they're able to achieve, there's something in the sound design and in the production that feels very uniquely them.
Yeah.
Um,
And really excellent vocal mixing too. Like Mika is such a talented vocalist, and there's times where she just sounds massive, and there's other times where she sounds really soft and intimate, and just really brilliant singing by her on the whole album.
yeah, performances are just
Brilliant.
incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a band that is going to be incredible to see live too.
Oh yeah,
I know they're touring right now, and this material is just going to be insane live.
yeah. I mean, I was familiar with Magdalena Bay slightly before this album. I'd heard a couple tracks, but this like I'd never really latched onto anything, and this album really makes me want to hear what they have next. Like I'm definitely gonna have my eyes open for the next release.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of Magdalena Bay. I saw the album cover when Aiden picked it last week and was like, "Oh, that looks really sick." And this is just one of the best albums of the year, hands down. Might even be the best one.
Yeah, so I think with that, I think this is our first 5 alert.
Yeah, we both gave this one a 5.
Both 5s.
And both knew very quickly into the album. I think we
Yeah.
both texted each other over the course of listening to it, like, this is a 5. This is fucking
Yeah,
sick.
I think I texted you on like track 4 or 5. I was like, "Yep, this is it. Like this is what I needed."
This is incredible.
So yeah, that's definitely a must listen. If you haven't listened already, Magdalena Bay,
Check it out.
Imaginal Disc, album of the year contender for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, and we didn't announce this one last week, but we'll move into our next random genre pick.
Which is,
Real exciting.
did I write down the name of it correctly? I did not. Like a smart I didn't even write down the name of it.
It's
like
Dub.
It's Dub. It is oh, I did write down the name of it somewhere. King Tubby's meets Rockers Uptown by Augustus Pablo. This record came
And
out
King Tubby.
and King Tubby. This record came out in 1976, and the genre is dub. And this is a genre both Aiden and I kind of don't have a lot of familiarity with.
Yeah.
And we've of course listened to like a little bit of Bob Marley. We know some reggae, but this was an exciting new experience for us.
Yeah.
And wow, what a cool album! Like,
Yeah,
what a
why don't you kind of explain like what dub is?
yeah.
People that
So
don't know.
dub, I had to do again my traditional like 10 minutes of Wikipedia research. But dub is a genre that springs out of reggae. It came around in like the late 60s, early 70s. And it came about as reggae producers started mixing singles, and they realized that playing singles at the clubs with just instrumental tracks sounded really cool, and that the dancers really responded to them. So they started mixing stuff that was very bass and drum oriented with a lot of echo and reverb on it, and it's just very smooth and like chill, but with a very great groove. All of the best like session players in Jamaica were playing on these records, especially for King Tubby in this record is the producer. Augustus Pablo is the other producer who also plays melodica on this. And both of them were giants of the Jamaican dub scene. And dub went on to be a massively influential genre to just about everything. And we were doing a little bit of research for this so we could speak on dub a little bit better, even though we're not the best people to listen to about what dub means and what dub is. But for us, for who are very into a lot of like 80s alternative rock, learning that this genre is super influential to outfits like Bauhaus, Fugazi, who else? I wrote
even Devo used a lot of
Devo,
reggae rhythms,
yeah,
stuff.
Massive Attack, The Clash, Fishman's. This was such a massively influential genre to just about everybody. And really, one of the quotes I read about it was that it really was the first genre to view the mixing table as an instrument in itself. And that's such a cool idea. Yeah. So with that, the actual meat of this record is also really great.
Yeah, I noticed like a lot of times going off that mixing board idea is one of the first use of high pass and low pass filters. And what that is cutting either a lot of the high frequencies out and adding and subtracting them, or low frequencies, which will create like kind of an underwater filtered sound to create transitions. And I know that dub was one of the first genres to really utilize that. And it is almost in every EDM song nowadays that you can think of. Also, the use of sampling, which you can even see the influence into like 90s hip hop, especially stuff on the East Coast, and the use of the stereo field. I'd say both of these albums, if you're going to listen to them, listen on headphones. There's stuff bouncing around to different ears and back and forth. And it creates like great ear candy. It's really like not only pleasant to listen to, but interesting to listen to.
Mm-hmm. And even on a not like, it's super great on a technical level from what Aiden can attest to, but also just from a spacing out and grooving, it's just a very smooth listen. A lot of the tracks flow into each other really well in a very different way from the Magdalena Bay album, of course. Magdalena Bay combines a lot of genres. This one is so consistent and steady in its genre, and it really is just a great example of what dub really is. And I want to attest to the fantastic bass playing on this record by Robbie Shakespeare. And I love this. This guy's name is Aston Family Man Barrett, which is such a sick nickname.
That's awesome.
It's like, yeah, this is our dude. This is Aston Family Man Barrett. Like normally you got like really tough nicknames. Like this is Aston Child Ripper Barrett. But this guy's just the family man. I think that's sick. But really fantastic melodic bass playing that just really sits in the groove about as well as anything you'll ever hear.
Yeah, I think it takes from what I've heard of reggae and really does something interesting with it that I'd never heard before.
Yeah.
So what did you give this album then?
I gave this album a 4 out of 5.
I also gave it a 4 out of 5. I think we're gonna keep giving the same scores.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of
We're basically the same person. So if you were expecting a podcast with a lot of discourse and hard arguments, and the only thing we'll argue very hard about is the effectiveness of the COVID vaccine, which Aiden doesn't think works and thinks gives you autism. So that's not good. Your dad's gonna like that one.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I think my favorite track off this was
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we almost forgot. Favorite tracks was 555 Dub Street, I believe is what it was called.
Yeah.
There was just something in the groove that really like caught my ear. It made me want to dance.
Yeah.
It's just a pleasant listen. Honestly, I could pull any from this album.
Right.
And like you've got King Tubby meets Rockers Uptown. Like that's the hit.
Yeah. This is a hard one to pick a favorite one off of because all the tracks are very similar. And if you have to listen to just one of them, listen to the title track. It's such a great example of what this genre is. And you can kind of tell they were cooking with something special on that track. My personal favorite was Skanking Dub off the album. And to be honest, I don't remember why. That's just the one I wrote down. But it was probably pretty good.
I remember that one actually.
Yeah.
That was probably my other favorite.
Yeah.
Was it had like if I remember correctly, it had a funky bass line and
that's probably
cool
why I picked
vocal
it.
chops.
Yeah. Yeah, there are no vocals on this album, just to add on to that. There's a couple vocal samples that are thrown in there, but yeah, that's another part of dub.
Yeah, it's purely like electronic and
Mm-hmm.
sampled, spliced together. It's really
Yeah,
interesting.
absolutely go check this out. Now, I think we're going to move on to our next segment where Aiden and I show each other a single we've been listening to from the past or from the current, from hopefully an underappreciated artist, and we just kind of give our opinions on it. So yeah, we're going to do that now. I can share my track first.
Yeah.
My track is from a Florida indie rock band, emo band called Rugh, R-U-G-H, and their song Favorite Way to Be Used off their 2022 album. And they are an excellent band. They come out of, I think they play around Gainesville a whole lot, and they do some really, really lovely stuff with their guitars. And I also really love the way they have two mostly primary vocalists. It doesn't sound like Fugazi at all, but the way in which they have two vocalists in a call and response thing that mirrors the kind of like 80s rap style is almost similar to that, but imagine if it was really, really sad indie pop. So yeah, we're going to check that out now, and we'll give you our thoughts.
But yeah, so that was Rugh. Was that one?
Favorite Way to Be Used.
Favorite Way to Be Used. That was sick.
Yeah.
I think, I know we did Joan of Arc last week.
Mhm.
I think this one I liked more than Joan of Arc. This type of Midwest emo is like what I really gravitate to. I love kind of how weird and proggy it gets at points. Like with the tempo slowdowns.
Yeah.
And I love her voice.
Her voice is beautiful, and it's she plays guitar, and the other person, I don't know their pronouns, so I'm sorry if I fuck that up, but she plays guitar and sings, and the other guitarist also sings. Like, they usually set the mic back a little far, so her voice is like very echoey and reverby while she's doing the more like Midwest emo-y runs on guitar.
Yeah.
They're great. They're fantastic.
Yeah. The vocals reminded me, and I'm gonna give a shout out here to Milwaukee band Love You, Bug Moment. Shout out to Bug Moment. Kind of reminds me of something that Bug Moment would do, which I'm all for. It's another band I'm gonna slide in there. If you haven't checked out Bug Moment, please do. Great people, great band, make really cool stuff.
Let them play at Culver's.
Yeah, let them play at Culver's. Let Bug Moment play at the Culver's.
Let Bug Moment play at the Culver's. Cowards.
Yeah, neighborhood association.
Bitch.
Yeah, you heard me.
Yeah.
That's right. Let them play. But yeah, Rugh, really cool.
Absolutely check them out. They're very underappreciated, and they deserve your listen and your time.
Yeah,
They're
they only
incredible.
have 270 monthly listeners now after I just listened. But I will definitely be checking out their 2022 EP.
Yeah, the whole EP is fantastic. They're a great band.
Yeah, they're super sick. I guess it's time for you to listen to
What'd you pick?
my track.
Where'd I put my notebook?
Your notebook.
Oh, I left it over there like a damn fool. Your pick was Cops and Robbers by Underscore.
And Robbers by Underscores.
All right, I'm excited to check this one out.
Underscores, they're like hyperpop artists. They work with some of the PC music people. I know they've worked with Umru. If you know who Umru is, he's a great DJ and producer. Done stuff with Jane Remover, and kind of fills that interesting like hyper pop punk, just interesting music spot. So I'm excited for you to check this one out.
Yeah,
Cops and Robbers Underscores.
That was Cops and Robbers by Underscores, and that was fucking sick. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's a wacky one.
That's a real wacky one. It's got so much going on. It definitely sounds kind of Jane Remover 100 Gex-ish. Guy who knows 2 hyperbot bands. It's like, yeah, I'm getting a lot of Gex from this.
No, definitely.
You can definitely hear Gex in the vocal tone and in the kind of like tongue-in-cheek lyrics.
Mhm.
And oh my god, the sick production is insane. The like fade out and then the quick fade back into like the key change chorus that goes into like it's like a pop punk thing.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like a Paramore chorus. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's sick. And then it has a bridge where it's like there's a real like distorted compressed synth doing like a Jimi Hendrix solo over like a Jimi Hendrix rhythm part. It's insane. Just a sick track.
Yeah.
Absolutely sick.
Yeah. The whole song's about stealing money and going on the run.
Yeah.
It's great. There's like so many just weird synths just like thrown in
Yeah.
there.
They're also buzzy and compressed too.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's great. The track is like a brick.
Yeah.
But it sounds cool.
I think there's definitely a moment in there like when the first stuff like hits where I just like jump because it hits so hard.
Well, yeah, it starts out with just like that little bass line,
Yeah.
and then just like boom,
Yeah.
and hits you with the sound. But yeah, Underscores, check them out.
Absolutely check them out.
Especially that album Wall Socket. It's real good. So
Heck
yeah.
yeah. All right. We've reached the benediction of our service.
Yeah.
And the altar call. Are there any closing thoughts you have? I have a couple singles written down.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Jane Remover?
Yeah, the new Jane Remover singles. I almost forgot about that. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I already mentioned Jane Remover before when we were talking about Underscores, but Jane Remover, one of my favorite artists, just released 2 new singles, and both very different. Both definitely
both gas.
Definitely worth checking out. Like, yeah.
Ooh, good.
Yeah.
We need to get that in there.
Yeah, we need.
I'd also like to shout out Mount Erie, who project of Phil. I've never learned how to say his name. Elverum. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, his first new album in about 6 years is coming out soon, and he just released 2 singles for it, and they're both awesome. Broom of Wind, and I forget what the other one's called, but they're great.
Yeah, they're super pretty.
Mhm.
I guess I'll shout out some more singles. Lutalo.
Hey.
He's got, I want to say 4 or 5 new singles out. Not an EP. It looks like it's a upcoming album. I'm looking right now. The Academy album. You can pre-save it right now. So I'm giving him free promo with this.
8 days.
I'm pre-saving it right now.
Heck yeah.
Pre-saved. But yeah, a couple tracks are out. My favorite being Ocean Swallows Him Whole. That one was great. Yeah, cool indie rock. He gets noisier with every release, and it's getting
Good.
fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's huge. Before we go, I'd like to add something to a movie I shouted out last time, Le Samurai, the 1967 French film. Randomly popped up in one of my other podcasts, Bunta Vista. The actor from there just died. And apparently, as his dying wish, he wished to have his dog killed and buried with him, which was
alright.
not fulfilled, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry for calling that guy really sexy. He was really sexy, but now he's dead, and he was also a massive piece of shit, not just for wanting to kill his dog, but also for being like kind of a fascist.
So
But
that guy sucks.
That guy sucks. Really, really pretty jawline though. But just like to clarify that. Don't kill your dogs.
Yeah, don't
That's
do that.
bad.
And with that, I think
I think that's a podcast.
any clothing remarks.
Clothing for the month. Give your soul to Jesus.
Moment of silence for Jordan Love's MCL.
Mm-hmm. And for the Falcons in general, because oh my god. And for that Kirk Cousins contract, because what the fuck?
All right, and with that,
I think
that's 2 dope boys
on a porch.
signing off.
Peace.